Last fall, the North Suburban Hospital District Board announced their intentions to dissolve. Last week, they moved a step closer to ending the elected body as they started selling off their property. Ben has more on the future of the hospital board and the Unity campus.
At the most recent meeting of the North Suburban Hospital District Board, Allina informed the board that they intend to take ownership of the Unity campus from the board. As a part of their lease agreement with the hospital district, Allina can exercise an option to take ownership of Unity as long as there is no outstanding bonded debt on the property, which there is not.
The Allina folks did provide us with a formal notice that they were going to exercise their option on the hospital facility.
We've reached a point in the relationship where going forward, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to have a funding source of that type. We believe the healthcare operations services needed to be self-sustainable.
The North Suburban Hospital District was formed in the 1960s when Unity was originally constructed. Since then, it has levied taxes in Blaine, Spring Lake Park, Fridley, Moundsview, and Hilltop to pay for improvements at Unity. Allina recognizes that the hospital district has been good stewards of the taxpayer dollars over the decades, but feels that the taxation is no longer needed.
We really did believe that the North Suburban Hospital District and that model had run its course, and that moving forward, we just felt it would be prudent for us to step in, purchase the property, and eliminate that tax burden from the 5 communities who were supporting it in the past.
Last year, when Allina announced that Unity Hospital and Mercy Hospital would become one hospital with 2 campuses, several community members were upset. A lawsuit was filed and 3 candidates ran for seats on the hospital board under the Save Our Hospital banner. 2 of those candidates were elected, and since coming on the board in January, they have been able to find some common ground with Allina.
We had a lot of really good, healthy conversations with concerned citizens over A, what we were doing, and B, some of the confusion around what was actually the North Suburban Hospital District's role in operating the Unity campus. I think we've had a lot of clarity around that. As you know, a couple of the seats changed, the board member seats changed on the North Suburban Hospital District Board. We've met with those board members. We had some really good conversation about especially communicating what we're doing and how is it meeting the community's needs. And I think we've gotten to a really good place with those individuals and with some of the community members at large.
The hospital board's decision to transfer Unity to Allina ownership was unanimous. The hospital board is still on a path to dissolving, but they will still have much work to do after Unity goes to Allina.
The hospital district has got property that it still owns surrounding the campus and within the campus itself. So even with the hospital itself being transferred, the hospital district still owns the land that's across Osborne. It owns what we call the strip mall next to it that Allina is currently using for training. The hospital district owns the community gardens behind the facilities, and then there's a pond that it owns, along with an interest in all of the parking lot. So the hospital district still has quite a bit of property that it needs to dispose of before it can formally go out of business.
Then they will have to make a decision as to how to disperse the proceeds from the sales of those properties.
The property gets sold, the dollars from those proceeds then get put into the hospital district's basic bank accounts. Those bank accounts, when the hospital district is taking care of all of its obligations and is down to not having any property, the net proceeds then get distributed back to the member cities. There's 5 member cities. We've met with each of them. They've all given us their opinion on how that money should come back to them and in what formula. So the hospital district board just has to figure out which formula they want to take or create their own.
Hospital districts were once much more common, but the healthcare landscape has shifted.
I don't expect to see another metro area hospital district ever set up that's actually going to run a hospital. It just simply is too big business, and it's something that the government really isn't, it's not their strength.
For North Metro TV News, Ben Hale reporting.
The board is going through a process of establishing a fair market value of the rest of the property. Once fair market value is determined, the lots will go up for sale. Allina is expected to be a bidder, but the process will be open to anyone.